Okay, let's try this again. Everybody, welcome to a special Saturday stream here on Simple Shibari. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that this video is intended for mature audiences only. If you are not an adult where you live, please feel free to stop this video and go over to a channel such as Paracord Guild, Nodding Knots, or any one of a number of dozens wonderful content creators which can show you the beauty and the art of nodding. But everything on this channel is intended for adults only. Okay. Got that out of the way. Let's go over safe, sane, and consensual again. Here on this channel, we recommend that all ties be safe, sane, and consensual. The number one aspect of safety is having safety scissors on hand. Even doing aesthetic, non-restrictive ties like what we do, occasionally you'll still need to be able to cut a model out of rope, either because the tie has gotten away from the artist, or because there could be some other kind of emergency, such as a physical emergency or emotional emergency. To that end, both model and artist should be very open and discuss any physical and emotional traumas that they may have. Rope can be a very intense activity, so you're going to want to be very transparent about that. Clear communication in general is highly encouraged, both during the planning process as well as the tying, being tied, and untying process. And don't forget about aftercare. Here on this channel, we encourage rope as a couples activity, but don't forget about the aftercare. It may be a simple check-in. It may be blanket, snacks, water, time together watching a movie or a television show, something of that nature, to either just kind of decompress if it was an intense experience, or just sit and talk about what you liked about the tying experience. Saying both the artist and the model should not be impaired for any reason by substances, and also be in a healthy frame of mind. Okay? And consensual. Everything regarding a tie should be discussed before anybody picks up any rope. That includes understanding what the needs are of the person who is acting as the artist and the model, as well as any ability or physical or emotional limitations that someone may have. Again, it all goes back to great communication. Everyone has the right to stop a tie at any time for any reason. Stop is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I saw the tie that we are going to be doing today, particularly the base model. We're going to see if we have time to do two ties. A couple of months ago, on an artist's feed called Afterglow. And I love symmetrical ties. I really do. But when I see an asymmetrical tie, which is just really well done, I get excited. And Afterglow had done something that I thought was beautiful. The model was beautiful, looked beautiful on the model, worked very well with her shape, and I just thought, hey, that's something that I eventually want to be able to bring to the channel. But I wanted to be able to do it in such a way that was consistent with the goal of the channel of being able to do things using a beginner's level understanding of tying and knotting and making it as simple as possible. So what I've ended up with here is a, as opposed to using a one rope technique, which is what Afterglow seems to have used, I broke it up into 2 ropes. For the purpose of today's video, I am using standard size rope, which is 30 feet. But for how you want to apply it, how you want to tie it onto the model, the look that the model is going for, you know, you may want to choose different size lengths, but 30 foot's a good place to start, even if you have rope you don't need there at the end. Okay, so I'm starting off here with the bite of my rope. This is the 15-foot mark of the rope. Goes down to 0, goes down to 30, bam, there we go. Okay, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make just an overhand knot in one side here. Okay, and just kind of bring that down, but not bring it down too much. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to come around the waist here, and I am doing the waist because my dress form doesn't have legs. If you wanted to anchor your tie around the waist the way we're going to be demonstrating, then, you know, by all means keep doing this. You could also apply this at the upper thigh, mid thigh, down at the knee level. It does not have to be that tight. I tied it on my partner at a party yesterday, and it was not tight at all, but this is another one of those ties which is going to be very kind of loosey-goosey and floaty feeling until you kind of get it more locked in. So depending on the look you're wanting to go for, your experience level and whatnot, I'm just starting here, not talking about it. Okay, so I have the bite here, and I have fed the working end through. Okay, we're going to do a cross tension base. I'm going to double back, and I'm going to go around here. Let's come down below because of the way that has settled. Okay, there we go, there we go. All right, and I've got this overhand knot here. I want to use this just as kind of a temporary tension control device. Okay, now this is fine because we typically don't have a lot of tension. This is just to add some initial stability. If you're going to be going for ties with more compression, I would really caution you about using these kind of techniques because it is very easy to, once you get these things cinched down, to maintain the tension, and if you over tighten, you can cause problems for yourself and end up having to go back and redo a lot of work. Let's see here. Follow this back around. There we go. There we go. Now, one thing that this does do is this does get you to cross the lines just a little bit. Okay. Ghostbusters, crossing the streams. Okay, it's going to be more comfortable the fewer times that it does cross. But we're just trying to get a firm foundation at this point. Okay, so I'm happy where that goes. Okay, do get some stretch in that. It is going to loosen up a little bit there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have this just off to one side. I'll bring it back around to this side. It's walked up on me a little bit here, but it's one of the advantages of having things on the hip. You have foundation like this, it can be sitting on top of the hip, and particularly for something which is kind of floaty like this, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, but let's do this. Let's create a loop. Okay, up like that. Okay, then take your working end, feed your working end under your support. Okay, let it fall down short of the loop, and then just tighten it down. And now you've got a good change of direction there on your waist. Okay, now, you know how last week we were doing the Hishikirata. The Hishikirata has a nice structured main line that everything gets tied off on. We're going to do a similar kind of concept here, except this is going to be kind of a curved S shape. It's going to twist around the body like that. And then your tie is going to essentially hold that in place. Okay? Now, one of the things about this tie is you want to be cognizant of, as you come around the back here, around the neck, that as you tighten this, you don't apply too much tension and want to really crank on the model's neck. Okay, you want just enough tension for it to be able to hold its shape. Okay, and that's going to be a pretty good look right there. So turn around the back. What I want to do is I want to create the same shape here in the back. Okay, like this, and then bring it around to our anchor point. So just kind of getting a dry fit here. Slip that down and under. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Just kind of feeling it on the front and the back. It's going to be about like that. So then I could take this and I could do the same thing over again. Okay, take my working end, make a loop going up and over the support, feed the working end through just like that, and tighten it down. Okay, this is also a knot that, as you go, can be moved left to right on your foundation line, which can help you control the final tension for your model down the road. Okay, now, because we have a small model here, if we wanted to go back and double this, so that instead of having 2 lines, we have 4 lines, we could do that. In order to keep things simple for this look, I'm not going to do that. But I can tell you from experience last night that this extra rope that we have going down the leg and repeating a similar kind of pattern can be a wonderful look, particularly for someone who does enjoy showing off their legs. Okay, so let's come back around like this, and so yeah, looking front and back, we have similar kinds of shapes there. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of extra slack there. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to end up with a tie that is going to start to take this direction. Now, if you could get really aggressive and just make these straight lines, but if you allow this to kind of fit on the body, be relaxed, you can maintain a nice curve to fit the body and what your what would accentuate your model shape the most. Okay. All right. So now let's take a different colored rope. Use magenta here just to set things off. And let's come here just over the shoulder, okay, and come in and make a lark's head. The simple lark's head. The lark's head where you have the bite and you just wrap it around and feed it through. Okay? Just like that. Okay? And the wonderful thing about this is it is also going to allow you to be able to adjust this as you need to. But you can tell just by letting it go, this is going to want to move. So this first knot here is going to be kind of crucial. So what you want to do is you want to take this, bring it around, okay, under the arm, all right, and I'm going to tie this with a double length of rope, okay. You could do this with a single length of rope if you wanted to. But one of the things that I did find last night in a long wearing tie, and also watching another very, very talented artist doing a wonderful hip tie that had some wonderful compression, is that particularly on something floaty like this, having the lark's head doubled with a double line is going to help add some stability to it. Okay, so in order to do the lark's head with a doubled line, go over your support, bring it back, under, just like that. Okay, so we went over, bringing it around and under. Okay, just like that. Go over our standing end. Put your thumb right there. Okay, then come back around. Go under your support, just like that. Okay, and then just take it and dive down through the bite that you have left when you crossed over your standing end, just like that. Now, another nice thing about maintaining the doubled line here is that you end up with a nice substantial looking knot as well. Okay, it's going to give you a nice punch of color. It's going to give you some visual interest. It's going to be doing a lot for you here. So I liked the idea versus what I had been doing in my warm-up of just doing a single line and staying with the doubled line like that. Okay, and so now this is one thing that you are going to need to do. Now, having a lot of compression here may be uncomfortable, you know, particularly on this sensitive area of the skin right here. Okay, so depending on how comfortable your model is with this tie, you may want to have a generous amount, particularly here, right under the armpit, to allow this to kind of move again, also, if you make it too tight, that is also going to crank against the neck, which, yeah, I got comments on that last night, so I'm pretty sensitive to it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Now, we're just going to come back. We're going to go over, just like that. Okay, over our support. Bring both of them under. Okay, pull them all the way out. Cross over our standing end. Okay, hold it so you maintain that part, that loop, right like that. Okay, pull through. Then take your working ends through the loop that you've been maintaining, and then just dive down through that hole. Okay. Now that first one, definitely be aware of your tension. Recommend erring on the side of being a little bit loose, but now definitely watch your tension a little bit more. And as you tighten this down, bringing it back up, bringing it back up, be sure, there we go, that it is not going to get away from you. Okay, so looking at it there, all right, it is going to be a little bit more forgiving if when you do this you're unhappy with it. You can always take a little bit of this slack, chase it around, and it's okay. Okay, the main thing is when you bring this knot in, be sure that your Larks Head is nice and toned and dressed down. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of that slack and I'm working it around just like that. Okay, and I got a little bit of drape on both. I'm happy with that. Okay, so it looks like that and it looks like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to do one more just to kind of hold this shape from this side. I'm going to go over, bring my working end around just like that. Okay, keep those lines straight, pinch as you cross over, bring your working end under your support, and then take the working ends. I've lost them here in my hand. There they are. Take your working ends and dive back down through, just like that. Okay, just like that. Now some of the detail is a little bit lost on this because I did allow this to hike up on me. Okay. And it is also a very slight dress form. This is a very, very petite torso. Okay, so I'm just going to dress this down a little bit more. Let it come a little bit more this way. Hold, hold. Pull, pull. Tighten, tighten. Tight, tight. Just like that. Okay. There we go. Just like that. And then I can follow back around this way. Okay. This is actually a little bit looser than I wanted. So I can still adjust that by coming this way and taking up a little bit of slack. I mean, technically speaking, I could also use a different tensioning technique to pull down on it a little bit more this way. Okay. What I'm going to do this time, though, is I'm going to cross over, and I'm going to show you how this can change direction. Okay. So I'm going to come around the back to this side. Okay. And I'm going to do my Larks Head here. I'm going to cross over my support, come back around with my working end, go under my support, let it fall over. Okay. Maintain this loop here. Take my working end and go under. Just like this. And then take my working ends, go over my supports and down. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. Boom. 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 Just like that. Okay. Let's see. I want to pull it a little bit more. I want to dress it down a little bit more. Just like that. There we go. Okay. And now I can bring this around and for where I am now, I'm just going to bring this around here, come around, go over, maintain a little bit of bite, okay, and essentially terminate this in an overhand knot. Okay, just like that. And so what you end up with, a very, very petite, very short form here, but what you end up with is an asymmetrical tie that pulls your main line away, helps regulate that arc, maintain that arc as you go. And when you use multiple colors like this, it can be very, very striking. Okay, now, if I wanted to, I could also take this original bit of rope, feed that slack through, pull, 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 and then go down. And then with this, I could go down the leg, do some kind of a bowline or cross tension like this. You want to be very, very careful on how you do that, but then bring it back up, and then you can continue to weave this back and forth all the way down the leg. And I did that last night on my partner, and it was a great look, and she really, really enjoyed it. She was wearing a sexy outfit. She looked great in it, but that little one leg wrap really did the difference. Now, this is more along the lines of what Afterglow did, except he started his down lower. He was able to make use of the leg in a little bit more of an S shape. But this, maintaining this curve is a little bit more difficult. So what I want to do is I want to go in now and I want to show you a different way to set it up that might be a little bit more forgiving. It's in the same kind of style, but it will be symmetrical. So if you love symmetry as much as I do, you might like this one a little bit better anyway. Okay. But it's also a very different kind of look. Here, let me go ahead and I'm going to hold this real quick. I'm going to do a screen capture. There we go. All right. Okay. I'll use that for my thumbnail. Great. All right. Now, one of the nice things about this tie is, and using the Larks Head, is untying it is a lot easier, because all you have to do once you get your main line done is just pull it out like this. It is one of my favorite things about the tie from last night. Because now my magenta line is done, I can start wrapping that up, and it took a fraction of the time it took to actually tie it. So, big fan, big fan. All right, so now I want to lower this one. I'll be honest with you, it was kind of bugging me a little bit. Okay, pull that one around, give myself a little bit more slack. Okay, and if you are like me, you will never be happy with your tie. There'll always be something you could have done different. And always something that you'd like to try again next time. Okay. Like for instance, the inspiration for this next variant came from one of my first practice sessions, trying to get this one taken down. I thought, well, I'm a big fan of symmetry. Okay, so I'm just going to do it that way. Okay, and then rope maintenance. The struggle is real. Okay, so I've given myself a little bit more. So just take your working end, loop over like that. Okay, come up underneath your support like that, and then just feed your working end under the support like that. And that's going to help secure things and allow you to change direction. The rope is going to want to flow where you go. Now, before we went in an S curve up the body, now what I want to do is, and that put uneven pressure on the neck, particularly after what I heard last night. I think my partner would be more interested in having a main line like that. And see, you can still give yourself ample room to tie it off that way. Okay. If you wanted to, you want to put like a double coin knot or something like that, or a box knot or a cross knot, you could absolutely do that. Okay. We're not going to this time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to regret that later, and promise myself the next time I do this tie, I'm going to do it differently. Okay, so I'm just going over my support, under, okay, then diving back down under, just like that. And yes, if you're following along at home, I just made a munter hitch. Yay. Okay. If you wanted to stay true to the exercise and do this as a Larks Head, you could. The thing that I like about this is the fact that it's directing the rope back down, which is more what I want, down and out of the way. Now this would be a great chance for me to be able to tie down this leg like I talked about before, it gives you a little bit of that asymmetry. I've got a lot of rope. You can technically go down one leg, back up, do a Larks Head here, like this. Go over your support, go under. Okay, just like that. Cross over your standing end, maintain that loop, go under, okay, and then take your working end and dive back down, tightening that down, just like that, boom, okay, and then if I want to, I can just come back here, come over my support, under, cross, really just end this in an overhand knot if I wanted to, just like that. Okay. All depends on how much rope you have, what look you want, etc., etc. Okay, so grabbing the magenta rope here. Okay. Now on this one, I am going to just do a, no, I'll do the double. I'll do the double. And I'll show you how to do the double. Because the part in all of this that you want to keep in mind is where you start that lacing is what's important. So let's do this. Let's create a Larks Head here underneath the neckline. Okay. Make a loop, go around, cross it through. There we go. Okay, just like that. And then what I want to do is I want to come in here underneath the arm. Again, this is pretty sensitive skin, so it's not the time to really crank down on it, particularly the first time through. Okay, what you want to do is you want to cross over your support. Okay, grab it there, feed your working in under, just like that. Okay, letting it fall down puts the rope right where you want it to go anyway, because you're crossing back over your standing end. Reach through, just like that. Come underneath, and then you're maintaining this hole in that loop, going over your support, and then just follow through, just like that. Okay, and so I like this tension here. I like where it's at, so I am going to just tighten, 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 tighten my knot down, just like that. Okay, just like that. Then, it's going to give me a little bit of asymmetry, but that is okay. All right. Looking at this, I want this to come to about right here. My partner was wearing a peasant top with a corset last night. Looked fantastic. This would have looked great on her with that outfit. So I'm going to come around the back. All right, just like that. Come around the back, over the support. Okay, pinch. Take your working in, go under your support on the top, pull it through. Just like that. Okay, adjust your tension. What do you want it to look like? Tighten, 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 tighten. Just like that. Gravity is doing what we want it to do. It is crossing the support. Give yourself a little bit of room there. Keeping a little bite. Run your working end under your support. Then take your free working end and dive down through that opening. Just like that. Okay? I like this tension here. I'm going to tighten it up. Tighten, 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 tighten. Tighten, 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 tighten. There we go. Just like that. Now, I want to be sure that you have these tensioned the same. Okay? I'm going to bring this up a little bit. So, there we go. There we go. That's right. Oh yeah. Happy with this. Happy, happy. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so now I can come back under. See, and one of the nice things about this is this has got some drape. You can give kind of a curtain effect to this if you want. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in. I want to keep pulling. Okay. This, particularly if you have a partner with a large cup size, this is going to really accentuate her form. Huge fan. Okay, so just like that, we went over our support, wrapped around under. We're coming over. Just like that. Letting gravity do the work. Tighten this down just a little bit though. Okay. Pinch. Bring your working in over. I'm going to put my finger in there, maintain that loop. Take my working end and dive down through that hole. Okay. And tighten it down, just like that. Okay. Tighten, 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 tighten. Okay, these crossed over. Wonderful, just like that. Okay. There we go. Great. Okay, so then we're coming back around. We're going to do another one here. I think we'll call it a day on this one. Again, just because it's such a short torso, I might be able to do one more. Cross over, bend around with your working end. Okay. I'm going to pull that a little bit tighter. Outstanding. Let gravity do the work. Keep a loop there. Go under, cross over your support, and then feed your working end back down through. I'm showing you a couple of different ways that you can help make that transition. It's one of the things about doing the Turk's head coming from one direction like this. Makes it a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to pull this down. This is where, you know, symmetry and form really start to make a difference. Okay. Now at this point, I can keep going down the leg if I wanted to. And you really don't even have to make that much of a transition if you don't want to. But you may also want to transition this to a single line here and let this line run down this leg, come back and have this line work down this leg. So for instance, we've got this loop right here ready to use. We used it to change direction one time. We can use it to change direction again. And so then we can just start here with our Larks Head, but with a single. Okay. It's going to change the look of it a little bit, but you know, you're also dealing with the leg as opposed to just the torso. So then I can do the same thing here. Over, around, let it fall, come under, go around like that. And I mean, just have some fun with it. You know, at this point, you're following your partner shape. You know, I'm going to stop narrating here. There we go. Go one more time. I'll do it one more time. Over, under, let it drop. Go under. Feed it back over your support. Just like that. I'm not going to tighten it down that much because I don't even have a leg to tighten it to. Alright, just like that. I wanted to look symmetrical for the thumbnail. I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit here too. Okay. Do one, go over, bring it around your support, let it fall, make a loop, come under the support, go over the support, dive down through your hole, just like that, boom, and you can keep going. Do another Lark's Head, tie it off, whatever you have rope for, okay, just like that. Okay, so your back is going to look something like that. Center this back up a little bit. There we go. And then your front is going to look similar to that. So it's a different look because your supporting line has a different shape, but it's really all the same thing, where you're just bouncing back and forth from support line to support line, creating a negative space on one side, but supporting the shape of your support line the other way across the back. More like that. Okay? So you can have design and you can have void space. Okay? Now, I wouldn't recommend just flipping this completely because I would not want to have this going across the front of the neck. But if you went around the shoulders, you could even have something like this on the front and then have a backless look. If something like that was something that the model was interested in. And you can just keep going down the leg for as much rope as you have and whatever design it is that you and the model decide on. Okay? But as I'm sitting here looking at this, this would be an excellent complement to a corseted look. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have. Because I've really enjoyed them, particularly this last one and the party that we had last night. I'm glad that in this episode we doubled the Larks Head here. And again, these are loose, these are comfortable. You know, you can, this is the tightest rope that we have and you can still fit a finger underneath it very, very easily. You know, so these kinds of things are things that you can wear at parties for an extended period of time. But again, the advantage of this tie, as we found before, all you have to do is undo the green line and the magenta line pulls right off. So it makes a very, very quick untying process. But I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. Stay tuned for our episode 15, where we will be doing something completely different. But I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time.